Woodman. All right, so that was a preference to Woodman, not really the grocery shop. No affiliation, just Woodman.
Nope.
We got Woodman in the house. What's up, brother?
Hey, I'm
How
glad
you
to be
doing?
here for Thursday Trash Day, man.
Yes.
Trash.
Take it. We got to take
So
out the paper and the trash.
So much going on. It's unbelievable. Just people are supposed to be professional attorneys, and then they're walking around like a bunch of kids. Uh, Probably like kicking the rock, looking down, kicking the rock, like, damn, I got caught. Well, what the heck you figure, I mean, and then they're still not giving up. Isn't that weird?
Well, what do you do?
They want to be like Venezuela, give you your guns up. You know what I mean?
Well, let's put this into like real perspective here. Like, so let's say you yourself have done a bunch of treasonous, traitorous things, and your only option is like going down and so let's say you're backed into a corner. What do? Do you keep your narrative up, or do you finally just lay down? Like, I don't know. Some of these people that are left up there, it's like they're not the quitting type. We all know those are people that will literally give up. There's people during wartime that'll wave a white flag, There's others that would rather go down shooting, and you know how it goes. So I think we're left with some of these die hard, going down with the ship. I'm the captain. I'm not gonna, I'm gonna go down with the ship even as it's sinking. I'll keep screaming my narrative. Even if they were to be getting close to being like put to death, sitting in the chair, you got any last words? Their words would be, you're all idiots and blah, 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 blah. I mean, I honestly think that at this point with some people, and there are those personality types out there. So I think the smart ones got out long ago, and others throughout. And I think there are some people left, and we'll find out, that are playing a role. That's what I always forget. It's hard. It's the role of their life, so it would be hard to determine that. And if you get caught up in certain shows and in the mainstream, you'll start forgetting that, because I do that all the time. I'll sit there and start getting mad again and getting all worked up about, and then I'll go look at, oh yeah, okay, this might be a piece of the puzzle. But so that's interesting. Right. And here in a little bit, we'll go over this Greg Rubini again tweet, and I'm going to be doing a video throughout today after this live stream. I'll be working on it, and it'll probably be out by this evening, hopefully by 8 o'clock or something on the Patriot Hour. But we'll go over that in a minute to show again. And we did that the other day. Remember, went over Rod Rosenstein and his role and the tweets. He was saying, I thank you, Rosenstein, for the last 24 months. And we're all like, what? This guy was in the way and doing all these things. And well, was he? Or was he playing his role? So it's going to be interesting. The stage has been set for sure. Morning, Danielle Bird. We got our mod in here, moderator Danielle, and I saw Randy Robbins.
Randy Robbins.
James Neal is in the house from the Legion. James Neal.
All right.
You know James, right?
No. Wait a minute. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
yes, I do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
He's part of the motorcycle club, I believe.
Yeah, they're called. It's called an organization. Come on now, let's get it right.
The motorcycle organization. My bad.
This is very important for the Legion people. That's nothing. I know you're kind of having fun with it, but
yeah.
These people do a lot. They raise a lot of money. They spend a lot of time.
No, I was not in any way making fun of the Legion's actual motorcycle. I was kind of making fun of James being part of it.
Right. Right.
He's got two
wheels. Yeah. Bro, what? 70? No, probably 50 cc's, 49.
I think he's under the cutoff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, they're great. Honestly, I do promote Legion. Folks, if you're eligible in any way, and we can go over. I was membership first vice for a long time. So it's open to veterans. You have to qualify. You have to have been in during a period of war, But so if you're eligible for that, and then if you're like mom or dad or grandpa or grandma served, you can be a SAL, which is a son of an American Legion. And then they got the groups for the women, which is called the Women's Auxiliary. And some legions have things for kids called the Junior Auxiliary. So check it out, folks. Check that out. Michael and Woodman, where's Ben? Ben is, we were kind of waiting. I did this as late as possible because I got things, other things going on this afternoon. Plus I got a video I want to get on. He was just tied up this morning is all. He had other things going on in real life. He might be home shortly, and if he texts in, maybe he can jump on in with us, but he just wasn't home yet. And he wasn't capable from going from his phone because of things that he had to get done. So enough on all that. Let's go. Pelosi. Barr committed a crime by lying to Congress. So he's refusing to testify today. What do you think of that, Woodman? Barr not wanting to come back today.
Well, come on, man. They already had their heyday yesterday. Check this out. Now they're trying to bring in their lawyers. What, are you kidding me? This is like round two, punch me out, Get with the program. This is all about the collusion.
Uh-oh. A little hiccup there from the Woodman. There he is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It froze up a minute.
I can't believe it. This whole thing was supposed to be about a collusion. Now, it branched out on so many weird areas. It's crazy.
It's like this. If your whole thing was collusion, and at the end of that you have nothing, and then you kind of want to look at Trump like, we want to investigate how Trump acted while we were looking into him. And did he try to obstruct anything? It's like, well, we found nothing, but still did he obstruct? It's like thing after thing, did he say any bad words during the whole 24 months? It's like, I think he did. It gets really, like you said, it's over. And so my biggest thing I heard yesterday during that, Woodman, was it's like at the time of that meeting or hearing yesterday, if he hadn't released the report yet, they would have been saying, why haven't you released it? Why haven't you released it? But since he released it, it was, and 2 weeks later, why did you take 2 weeks? It's like they wanted this story out of him of why he took 2 weeks to release something. And he's like, and they're like, did you want something to play out in the media in that 2 weeks? Because it sure did. Well, it's kind of like, well, did you guys want something to play out in the media for 2 years with the Trump-Russia talk? Because that's all you did, and it turned out to be a lie. Maybe you shouldn't go around spreading, It's funny, like you said, you watch the mainstream and you see these people coming on and they're like, what do you think about Trump's tweet about the FBI being dirty cops? And they're like, I really think Trump should he shouldn't be saying words like that without, and they want to have all this, and it almost sounds legit. You're like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't go around saying words until you can show some proof, but they did all this. They're giving advice on things and how to talk and how to be presentable when they didn't do it themselves for the last 2 years. I mean, that's all I get out of the rhetoric being spewed on the news. Why doesn't Trump tone it down? Why does Trump have to talk like them? Like, well, why do you talk that way? Well, I'm not president. He is. So it's like, well, president isn't a man anymore. He's not allowed to have emotion and feeling. And well, he should hold it in better. I don't know what they want. It's just it seems to be a big game and a lot of noise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, the FBI, all these people kind of have a normal job, but listen, I don't understand why, if these people were doing their job correctly, the entities, all of them, and we have too many already, but if they were doing their job already, why are we having these special investigations? I don't understand that. That's their job, is to do all that. What else are they doing? Are they counting kids coming into school or something? They're, this is what it's all about. They're supposed to be, this is the interior house cleaning. It's what their job is, and they don't want to have anybody else come in either. That's what their job is. So, it's a cleaning and protection for the country. Why are they doing what they're doing? These are supposed to be highly intelligent people. Highly intelligent, or they wouldn't be there. And they are. And the FBI, this is a big black eye for them. That you're only talking about, probably, in all honesty, between 6 and 12 people that have ruined that
the image.
3-letter agency.
Yes. tainted it a little bit. They've tainted
Sure.
it. They've ruined their image in the public eye for sure. And this is what I've talked about. People are like, it doesn't take a lot, right? Woodman, we know that. You know, ultimately in the FBI, there's one person, the head of it, that says things, and that'll roll downhill to the field, to the secretary answering a phone at some FBI field office. That's all it takes. So no matter how much good work was coming from the bottom of this pyramid of the FBI's structure and trickling all the way up to the top, it only takes 3-4 guys to take it, throw it in the trash, change some words like they were doing a lot. We heard about, so I'm going to erase that. We'll change that to make, no, that sounds better. And then nothing happens. So it's mind boggling. And like I can if I was not paying attention, I could almost get behind the mainstream's narrative of like, yeah, we need to get to the bottom of what Trump did.
Yeah.
But man, it's like we know these same group of guys that, and I like how Lindsey Graham laid it out yesterday. He's like, so the same group of people that investigated Hillary and all the crimes were there. Like, we know they have it set up in the military, in the government, to where when you start playing with sensitive information, top secret information, if you start playing with that, if that's your life, you go through lots of classes and they tell you like, oh, by the way, you're all scot-free right now. You're in the class learning and you're going to be signing off on some stuff on Friday when we're done with this class. But we don't have to prove malicious intent with you guys on sensitive. If you leave the base with it on accident, we don't want to hear the story. You broke the rules. Here's the rules now. And they go through them and you're supposed to know. So therefore, like we talked about, the guy that leaves and gets a thumb drive on accident, gets home on a Friday night, and he's like, oh my gosh, I still have a thumb drive. Oh, it was total accident. Races back to the base, self-admits, turns it in. He's going to lose his career in that field. He might be lucky to stay in the military and get put over to cooking or being in the post office. Who knows? But so you don't have to prove this gross negligence. You got it already just by leaving. There's clear crimes here. Her smashing the 18 devices, 2 of them with sledgehammers. The guy that worked at the Platte River that got the congressional subpoenas and the State Department to preserve all information of Hillary on that server, and he looked at that email. Then he looked at, they still had it, and then he looked at old emails from Hillary's crew, and it said delete everything after 6 months. Way back in 2010, and they just never got around to it. So he's in this dilemma of like, I got this congressional subpoena to hold information, I got this old order from Hillary and them to get rid of it all, and I got I'm gonna go ahead and do it. They went over to Reddit. This is something I was looking into yesterday. This crew of people went over to Reddit and went under the name of like Silver Sword, and they're like, how do you, and they were questioning some of the smartest people out on the web of how to get rid of these things, and people are writing back like, well, that'd be really hard, but if you do this, this, and that, you can pretty much do this, but you won't completely. And he's like, all right, cool. They went to Reddit to get the solution of how to do, and they did it, and it was after the fact. Where's that guy at? Not in any trouble. He actually pled the fifth, never answered one question, and isn't sitting in jail. 18 devices turned, so they blatantly ignored like tons of, but they were hitting up Roger Stone and Paul Manafort and Flynn for a little bit of a lie or some misstatement, like, where were you last Thursday? Oh, I was at the store. No, you weren't. You were over here. Ha, we got you. Coming in the morning with the FBI. Good morning. No, it's not. It's a bad morning. Liar. We got you. They were looking for things really hard on Trump and his fellow people, but they had everything in a backpack with Hillary, and they did not do one thing. No, they didn't get one person on obstruction. Her lawyers, they didn't kick in doors. They asked for a server. They couldn't get it. And they're like, oh, okay, sorry for asking. But with Trump, it's boom, take a server out of Trump Tower, kick in doors at the lawyers. Like we talked about, there was a main investigation for Russia collusion. Did they get the crimes on Flynn or none of that was to do with Russia collusion. It was to do with personal finance, taxes. None of the lawyer of Trump, they asked him all that. Did you doing tax stuff in 2008 have something to do with Trump in 2016? No, that was my own crime. So he's really mad that his own life got combed through and they found all these old crimes. But did they do that to any of the people around Hillary? If they would have went back 5-6 years on some of them and combed through, they probably would have came up with tons of. They didn't do any of this, folks. So it wasn't fair. We're finding all that out. It was a clear cover up. We know that Obama had emailed the FBI and said, if you guys kind of let this go, we'll give you preference on some money next year. Budgeting will be a little bit thicker at the FBI for you, and we'll give you a couple of picks of, you know, something, whatever, like, you know, preference on something. So it was going to be like, you know, quid pro quo of help us, we'll help you. And it appears that actually happened. So I don't know about them getting their, maybe they didn't get their other kickback yet. Like Obama asked for something, they got that, but the FBI didn't get theirs yet because they didn't win. And there was no way to get it back to them. So I don't know.
Right.
I mean, what are you thinking, Woodman, on all this hypocrisy coming out?
Well, no matter which entity there is, it is at any level, they always have someone to answer to. That's the main thing right there. You know, you're talking about Obama as a president, sicking on the spies. You know what I mean? For real. We've talked about this for a long time. They're grabbing at straws, they can see the whirlpool about ready to suck them down, you know, because once they get in there, they can't get out of it. And they can see it's ahead, like, oh man, oh man, oh man. They're saying everything along the way to divert attention to something else, you know. But they're trying everything in their power to ruin everybody else. If they're ruined, they want to ruin everybody else. You know, mainly, like I said before, the Democrats are doing such a stupid job. These are really highly intelligent people. They're supposed to be, here we go, they're supposed to be on our side of what is going on, you know? Why don't you just put all this stuff aside? They already checked, there's no collusion, you know?
So the right way, like you said, you just said they're supposed to be on our side. I don't know how, like what that means, other than the only way I can see this would be like that the FBI couldn't be stinking right now is that Hillary should have went down for her crimes of the server and all that, and this never should have been started into Trump, and then things would maybe be a little bit more normal in society. So yeah, I mean, folks, what do you do?
That's why I say that's why I say everybody has a boss. Everybody has to answer to somebody, you know. And if you take the trail up to who you have to answer to, wow, you know.
All these people that didn't want Trump in, that Peter Strzok and that girlfriend of his at the FBI, and they were doing everything to exonerate Hillary and doing everything to start something in a Trump. Like I said, you had clear crimes they could have went for really easily and nailed her. Instead, they went for made-up stuff, and we've been sitting in that for 2 years looking for something, which is crazy. And then you think, if they did find something, are they going to charge them with it? Because it would be like almost like you didn't charge Hillary and you had all this stuff. Now you're looking for something to charge somebody on. Like, that just seems so crazy. So if you sit back and you're not a Republican or a Democrat and you're just constitutionalist, it's all stinks to high heaven. It's not about this side or that side, but that's clearly what was going on there. Were they fighting for the left, and this is a right versus left, or a Democrat versus Republican? I don't think so. I think there's plenty of good people within the Democratic Party that aren't part of this. There's plenty of good people on the Republican side, but this comes down to a deep state versus government kind of coup. It's a fraction of people inside the government.
Evil.
Yeah, it really is. That's what you can boil it down to. Right versus wrong.
Versus evil.
Right versus wrong, not right versus left. Right versus wrong. Good versus evil. Yes, I agree with you, brother. So, all right, welcome again, Patriots. Amy the Mod is in the house. We got John Hook. Right. John Hook is in our area here, Woodman, kind of.
Yes. All right.
He's like Jimtown.
Oh, wow. All right.
Didn't you go to Jimtown there, Woodman?
No, I went to Northridge.
All right. You went out
Middlebury. Back then, it was a podunk town, man. It had one stoplight. And if a cow died on Main Street, it was probably the
school closed down for 3 days. That's true.
You know, it's an amazing feat, you know. Yeah, but it has really grown heavily. But no, I reside in Goshen now. Actually, I don't know if I should say that or not, but
So we also found out yesterday Barr is reviewing the Steele dossier allegations. So Attorney General Barr told lawmakers yesterday that he was re-examining the document to determine whether its allegations were part of a Russian disinformation campaign. So, you can't blame Trump or, well, we think Trump colluded with Russia. All right, let's look into that. And then at the end of 2 years, there's nothing. And then it's kind of like, well, we know there was a fake dossier and that guy had Russian ties and this came. So we know there was Russia crap going on in our election. Are we not concerned about, are we only concerned if Trump did Russia collusion, or are we concerned about Russia collusion in our elections in general? Right? I mean, doesn't that sound more legit to be concerned about it full-heartedly, not just only if it was Trump?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, check it out. That's why it's so important to get out November 3rd and vote, people. Really, no kidding. November 3rd is the magic day to go out there and make your peace with yourself, Right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So did you see happen to see I think it was Ted Cruz on the meeting yesterday, right before the break. I think it was before the lunchtime. Like he did one, there was one other guy after him. His was pretty good. Little comeback.
Yeah, when did he start sporting that little teeny weeny beard, man?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it was a while ago. People started liking that. That's funny. Biden goes light.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, I wish they'd just get their head out of their butt. Why are they're wasting so much time and energy on this stupid stuff? There's a lot of things that need to be cleaned up too. I mean, they're wasting too much time. Really. You've got this group investigating that group. Come on, Mike. I'd be like, you tell me something and I have 12 guys check on it. You kidding me?
That's so
just because that's how they play the game. Like, they all lied, Clinton's a bomb and all that junk out there, and they expect everybody else. Yeah, they expect everybody else to do the same thing. I think what those people need to do, they need to develop a good belt with a kind of like a little stand-up thing on, with a roll of toilet paper on there, so when they get done talking, they can wipe the shit off their mouth.
Yeah, wipe their mouth.
Yeah,
shit paper, little bit of some shit tickets to wipe their face.
Yeah. I'm just talking about the evil people. The evil people. Yeah.
So ICE expects a rise in fake families arriving at the borders. I was reading an article about that this morning. You know what we mean by fake families, right? I mean, like.
Right. Well, they're doing that one test where you do that, see if your genes are the same. If it's not the same, turn around, go back, man. You know what I mean? A DNA test. There's a simple one they can do, and that's what they're doing with these people. Like, say, if a guy comes in with a little girl, I'm her uncle. Well, okay, they do a DNA test, and if it's close enough to be a family match, you can come in. If it's not, you turn
now
around.
DNA. So they're they're there at the border. Everyone's out of breath. Their ICE agents come up. All right, snap, get a couple. Now they send that off to a lab. 2 to 3 weeks later, the DNA results come back, and
No, I think they do it. I think they do it right there. But that would be kind of wild, wouldn't it?
I don't know how quick DNA. I mean, I've done them in the past. I thought it took a week or two, but maybe that's because it has to go off to a lab. Maybe they got these field testers now. Do they have field test DNA as quick as like an alcoholic breathalyzer? I don't know. Anyone out there know?
Not quite that fast, but come on, we're not.
So what you made it sound, Woodman, your story made me put that in my head, like they're out there in the side of the desert, and they're like, oh, hey, you guys look like the traditional family, but I don't, let's do some testing here. And
they don't shut them off to a sweat box until they.
That's
come
funny.
on, And I'll tell you what's really
2
cool.
hours? Somebody said 2 hours? They got.
Yeah, Mexico is tired of all this stuff going through their country, man. They're
Mexico, yeah.
you've got terrorists coming in there.
72 hours. I got a 72-hour test.
Yeah, they've been having terrorists come in, so they're tired of it. They're going through their company, or country, ruining things on the way. They don't care either. They just keep going. I would still like to know who sponsors all this financially. It costs a lot of money to do that. You're talking about
Follow the money, man.
Yeah, you're talking about a lot of cheap earning farmers that, they probably can't save any money. And where do they come up with all this coin to go ahead and do all that stuff? I seen one guy, I don't remember what country he's from, but he was talking about how many different places he went to, countries, before you come into Panama and come up to that way. Okay. Isn't that amazing, people? Isn't that amazing? I mean, that costs a lot of money. You're talking about flights. Oh, yeah. That was just one person. Have you seen the big crowds they have on video? Zoom going up there. They have one reporter down there at a river coming back from Mexico, saying about how easy it was. And as they were filming that, there was 3 or 4 boats of people going right over there. Some people were walking. The little girls, when they got to Texas, were talking about, they walked through chest-high water, to get there.
Yeah.
There's no way of stopping that. You and I have been talking, well, all of us we've been talking about. They need to figure out some way of doing that, It's got to stop sometime. It's got to stop. It's too cancerous already,
Yeah, we got to get a...
Yeah. I think they need Michael approval from now on to come into the country. What do you think, Mike? Get you down there?
Oh, yeah. All right, here, we're going to look at a few of these. Hold on. There, I can still hear you.
That's nice.
Yeah, so chicks on the right because conservatism needs a makeover. Now, these are pretty good chicks on the right. Ashley, Daisy, McNamara, and Hannah. Anyway, we'll look at some articles here. Here are all the people I'm mad at this morning. Barr chuckles during testimony as Ted Cruz absolutely destroys Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee.
That was a good one.
That was good. That's what I was talking about with Ted Cruz there. Barr unloads at testimony. Mueller told us he was not saying Trump would be charged. Popular clothing under fire after people discover cancer warning tag. Your Mayday Mueller and Mardo meme. All right. So what was... Yeah, this is pretty good here. I thought they might have a video link, but they don't.
Oh, that'd be nice, man. Do they have any on any of those?
I can find it. I can get that. We could talk, break it down a little bit. Hold on, let me. So, Barr and Ted Cruz.
Biden's coming back. What a joke, man. They're saying he's supposed to be the main one for the Dems.
Who, Biden?
Yeah.
But man, he's got that. Like I said, that's why we got to really get this. He needs to have a full investigation of that. Him going to China 2 days later, his son gets that deal where they're paying him $50,000 a week. It's not right.
Hey, that should come out.
Foreign election crap or foreign working. You gotta.
Well, he was in office when Obama was, and that's when there was a lot of this bull crap going on. So he's got to be tied to that somehow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, get real, man. And you're gonna Obama screwed things up. They're gonna put it in Biden's hand. I don't think so. President Trump.
Well, this is everything opposite. The Democrats say they want people of color, woman. I mean, it don't matter if it was a white man that was most qualified. They almost don't want that. They want, so it's like he's not really getting any of their support, they're saying, because of that. Dang it.
I don't know. All I know is I'm going to vote November 3rd. I wish I could vote about 10 times.
General Barr, thank you for your testimony.
That's a little
All right.
election cheating, man.
Just saying thank you. You've had an extraordinarily successful legal career. You didn't have to take this job. And you stepped forward and answered the call yet again, knowing full well that you would be subject to the kind of slanderous treatment, the Kavanaugh treatment, that we have seen of senators impugning your integrity. And I, for one, am grateful that you answered that call and are leading the Department of Justice both with integrity and fidelity to law. That is what the nation rightly expects of our Attorney General, and I believe you are performing that very ably. I think this hearing today has been quite revealing to anyone watching it, although perhaps not for the reasons some of the Democratic senators intended. One thing that's revealing in the discussion and questions that came up,
Woodman, if you vote 10 times, you would be a California Democrat.
Is the word
Yeah, I know it.
For 2.5 years, we heard Democratic senators going on and on and on about Russia collusion. We heard
Listen up here, folks.
journalists going on and on and on about Russia collusion, alleging, among other things, some using extreme rhetoric, calling the president a traitor. We heard very little of that in this hearing today. Instead, the principal attack that Democratic senators have marshaled upon you concerns this March 27th letter from Robert Mueller. And it's an attack that I want people to understand just how revealing it is. If this is their whole argument, they ain't got nothing. So their argument is as follows, and let me see if I understand it correctly.
This is great. That's great.
You initially, when you received the Mueller report, released to Congress and the public a 4-page summary of the conclusions. Then on March 27th, Mr. Mueller asked you to release an additional 19 pages, the introduction and summary that he had drafted. And indeed, in the letter, what he says is, quote, I am requesting that you provide these materials to Congress and authorize their public release at this time. And the reason he says it is that to fully capture the context, nature, and substance of the office's work and conclusion. So you did not release those 19 pages at that time. Instead, a couple of weeks later, you released 448 pages, the entire report, which includes those 19 pages. Do I have that timeline correct?
That's right.
So their entire argument is, General Barr, you suppressed the 19 pages that are entirely public, that we have, that we can read, that they know every word of it. And their complaint is it was delayed a few weeks. And that was because of your decision not to release the report piecemeal, but rather to release those 19 pages with the entire 448 pages produced by the special counsel.
Yes.
If that is their argument, I have to say that is an exceptionally weak argument. Because if you're hiding something, I'll tell you right now, General Barr, you're doing a very lousy job of hiding it. Because the thing that they're suggesting you hid.
See this? I mean, this is unbelievable, folks.
And so if anyone wants to know what's in those 19 pages that are being so breathlessly, oh, Bob Mueller said release the 19 pages. You did. You did it a couple of weeks later. But we can read every word of the 19 pages along with the full report. In your judgment, was the Mueller report thorough?
Yes.
Did they expend...
So they wanted 19 pages. He's like, hold on, give me a week. I'm going to release 900 pages. And
Right.
You had to go through all that to make sure you weren't, hindering any ongoing investigations. And
Well, I'm sure what they wanted to do is read just portions of it, so when he come in to release the rest of it, they can attack him.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah.
I'm sure that's what it was. Let's finish it. That was
right.
cool.
Yeah. Hold on here.
I watched it. It's great.
The evidence did not support criminal charges.
That's right.
And indeed, the Mueller report, if I have these stats right, was compiled by 19 lawyers who were on the team, approximately 40 FBI agents, intelligence analysts, forensic accountants, and professional staff. The special counsel issued more than 2,800 subpoenas, nearly 500 search warrants, more than 230 orders for communication records, almost 50 orders authorizing the use of pen registers, 13 requests to foreign government for evidence, and interviewed approximately 500 witnesses. Is that correct?
That's right.
So, we have investigated over and over and over again, and the substance of the accusations that have been leveled at the president for 2.5 years have magically disappeared. Instead, the complaint is the 19 pages that we can all read that is entirely public, could have been released a few weeks earlier. Oh, the calamity. Let me shift to a different topic, a topic that has been addressed already quite a bit. I believe the Department of Justice under the Obama administration was profoundly politicized and was weaponized to go after political opponents of the president. If that is the case, would you agree that politicizing the Department of Justice and weaponizing it to go after your political opponents is an abuse of power?
I think it's an abuse of power regardless of who does it.
Of course.
Yeah.
To the best of your knowledge, when did surveillance of the Trump campaign begin?
The position
July of 16.
today appears to be that it began in July, but I do not know the answer to the question.
It is an unusual thing, is it not, for the Department of Justice to be investigating a candidate for president, particularly a candidate from the opposing party of the party in power.
Yes.
Do we know if the Obama administration investigated any other candidates running for president?
I don't know.
Do we know if they wiretapped
Well,
any
I'm
other?
sorry, I guess they were investigating Hillary Clinton for the email.
Do we know if there were wiretaps?
Yeah, did they wiretap Hillary and
Do we
everybody
know
associated with
if
her?
there were
No,
efforts to send
nothing.
investigators in wearing a wire?
I don't know.
So, General Barr, I would urge, you have had remarkable transparency. You promised this committee you would with regard to the Mueller report. You promised this committee and the American people you would release the Mueller report publicly. You have released the report. Anyone can read it. It's right here. I appreciate that transparency. I would ask you to bring the same transparency to this line of questioning about whether and the extent to which the previous administration politicized the Department of Justice, targeted their political rivals, and used law enforcement and intelligence assets to surveil them improperly.
Thank you. So that's the end of the first round. We have votes, I think, at 3. I think there are 4 votes. But
Wait,
what
this
I'd like
Graham.
to do is just, can you?
That's just him
for a few
talking
more
about the
minutes
break.
here? You're okay?
Oh,
You're
All right, let's go to the next person.
Senator Leahy, you're next.
Yeah, see, Senator Leahy.
yeah.
No, Graham opened up, right? That was, I
Well,
think.
several times Graham would say something about, come on now,
Well, he was ahead. He's the head of the committee or whatever, isn't he? Right now.
right. Yeah, the chairman or whatever they
Yeah,
call it. But
I
anyway, yeah, boy, I'm telling you, it's a sad thing that these evil people won't give up. I'm sure they're evil. They don't care. They're still going to grab you. There's a lot of guinea pigs out there they can snatch and feed us, to get them off their back for a little while longer. I don't know. I wonder how many of these camps we're going to fill up. Are we going to have room for them, Mike?
So, yeah, well,
We're going to have to buy an island and just ship them all over there,
yeah. Let me take a look at this here real quick. What was that on yesterday? That would have been probably Politico. Let me see here. A lot of stuff on Barr. But yesterday, oh, there, I can't hear you, Woodman. There you are. Now I can hear you.
All right.
I don't know if you said anything or not. I just remembered if I take your picture off, I have to. But yesterday I had these articles. I'm going to try to find it. You know, like these crimes are so clear that we have to have. Yeah, just give me a minute here. Let me find this. Go ahead and talk about something, Woodman, to the people there for a minute.
Well, the
Give
crimes
me a
you're
minute to
talking
find this.
about, there's various people committing them, and I mean, this is an interwoven web. It's ugly. I'm just glad that President Trump wasn't a politician, you know. And I've seen some of the chats. Yes, I think JFK Jr. is alive, and if not, God's sending some kind of word somewhere, you know. I mean, President Trump's trying to bring God back into our country, which it was founded on. You know, I really think uh, shifting here a little bit more. I really think that if we close these borders off, we can actually have a good way to clean our own house, and we could like live in a great place. You know, people can come and go all they want. We just don't want the evil stuff. You know, open arms. We're open arms, man. We're patriots. That's how our forefathers got here. You know, we're all we're not a we're not Indian. You know, which is a true American, but we came here. I guess we took this place over. We needed to keep it. You know, and to get away from where they were before. Now it's getting to be pretty bad. You know, I don't know. America's still the best place on earth to live. I guarantee you that.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have a lot of patriots. We're seeing more and more of them, you know.
Yes.
I'm running into people now. They're like, you know, now they're involved in VFWs or American Legions, you know, where their parents or grandparents had served and they feel obligated now to jump on board. I think it's just fantastic. You know, we're all brothers and sisters. I mean, truly we are, you know. Hey, by the way, today is National Prayer Day. I hope people are praying all over the world.
Nice.
Yeah, it is National Prayer Day. Yeah. And I don't think Mike bases the show on any kind of evil at all. As a matter of fact, we all believe in God, you know, and well, you can believe in anything you want, but we believe in God because that's the right way to go. Of course, we think that, you know, but we no lies here. If we do say something wrong, it's because it was displayed incorrect in Mike's searches. He doesn't fabricate any of this stuff, you know. All we're doing is digging.
Yeah, we're digging, and what we believe to be truth, we try to bring. And again, there's so much information out there, folks. It's sometimes it just gets
crazy.
You know, you're gonna, yeah.
A lot of information, a lot, you know, like you said too about these crimes. Holy cow! So many people they were all on board because they were getting away with it, and you know, they were happy. You know, it was like sunshine and, you know, sunshine, champagne, and you know, here we go. Well, now that's not in the equation anymore, and they don't want to lose that. As a matter, lose everything. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, no, you could have kept talking, but this is the one I went over yesterday. John Brennan is about to be indicted for the plot against Trump. Prepare for violence, says a former CIA officer. So the left is hungry for blood. Let's make sure it's their own blood. There will be arrest and indictments without question. This was a coup. This was a conspiracy. It was criminal activity. These people need to be indicted, charged, and need to be put in prison. And if they're not, then our Constitution is nothing more than a sham. That's what I wanted to... I love that little statement there, because it has to happen, right, Woodman? I mean, at this point...
Sure does. Sure does.
So John Brennan is about to be indicted for a plot. In a recent interview...
What a face. What a face.
Yeah. In a recent interview with the website USA Watchdog, former spook Kevin Shipp warned that if John Brennan and others are indicted for an attempt coup against the president of the United States, the violence from the leftists is going to increase to a point where it's going to be very, very bad. Americans, he said, need to arm themselves and be ready to defend themselves and need to be aware that there are going to be beatings and probably shootings, including shootings at police. Shipp was a high-ranking officer stationed at CIA headquarters at Langley, Virginia, and also at Camp Stanley, an Army weapons depot north of San Antonio, Texas, that had a secret CIA facility on the base. After leaving the CIA, he wrote 2 books on the agency, In From the Cold, CIA Secrecy and Operations, and From the Company of Shadows, in which he exposes a CIA abuse of state secret privilege to keep things hidden from the American people. What Trump has been facing, he said, is definitely a coup. This is the most shocking violation of the Constitution and criminal activity in history, not just of America, but of Western government, said Shipp. Much of this rises to the level of treason. People need to understand how shocking this is. It was clearly a conspiracy. Here's Kevin Shipp. There will be arrests and indictments without question. This was a coup. It was a conspiracy. It was criminal activity. These people need to be indicted, charged, and need to be put in prison. And if they're not, our Constitution is nothing more than a sham. I read that already. So anyway, that's basically the gist of this article. I want to kind of reiterate on that. But that statement's pretty, that's where I'm at. Like, this needs to happen. I don't care about the people out there saying nothing's happening, it ain't going to happen. Folks, we just went through 2 years of BS. Now we're going to maybe have 6 months of similar activity, just all pointing backwards. You know, the mirror effect, you know, the projection that was projected. Treason. I mean, it's not just your typical, they lied. You know, this is rises to the level of the highest levels of treason. Now, some people might not be able to understand that because we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it in our lifetime, really, have we now, other than in movies or something, right? Right, Woodman?
No, and you get executed immediately, man. There's no playing around. You're not going to hang around for a couple of months in a prison.
And be a tax burden.
Yeah. I'm
This
sorry.
ain't 18 years on death row on the old treason side now, is it?
Yeah, you get executed that same day. They really, and it's a good thing because we don't need that in our country. These evil people, you know. That's why when this stuff comes out, you know, we got to keep reminding everybody that the fake news is not going to give up, and they're going to just keep showing what they want to show, which they might show 15 or 20% of the truth. The rest of us are fabrication, trying to keep everybody redirected. The only one in all honesty, that I could find is some things online or Fox News. It's about the closest thing I can get. I don't know I haven't found anything greater than that.
Yeah.
You go to all these other channels. Holy cow! Where do they come up with these stories? You know, it's amazing. You know, and here's one thing: public hasn't caught on yet about when these people write these wrong stories. You know, they keep getting caught or whatever. And people still believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
You know? That's a bad thing. Yeah.
It's their own cognitive dissonance telling them that I got to keep watching this, even though they're wrong day in and day out. I don't know. So that's the danger for us, we the people, to finish up on this little thing he puts, the danger that we the people are facing is coming right now from the dark left, all right? The evil left, some people on the right as well, so we're just going to call it the evil. So that's it, you know, as these indictments start to roll in, come out, and the players are all called out, Woodman, systematically, 1 by 1, 10 by 1, whatever. The violence on what I call the dark left, the violence is going to increase to a point where it's going to be very, very, very bad. There are going to be beatings and probably shootings and shooting at police and law enforcement. There's going to be a lot of violence coming out in the next year or two. This is one of the reasons you need to exercise your Second Amendment right, because of what the left is going to do with all these findings as these people start going down, because it wasn't Trump and all the people around him. It's going to be a death knell for the Democratic Party. Now, Hughes told us this is the death of the Democratic Party. So they're going to be, like as we're seeing now, like you said, hey, I just can't believe why they won't back off. It's like, I don't know too many criminals that say, all right, you got me, here's my hands, until they are, doors are kicked in and they're taken by force, you know. There are people that will turn themselves in. I think they already have. I think there's people that would just kind of walk away because they don't like to, you know, it makes them all queasy to be around. You know, there's a certain people that don't have the stomach for this. Those people are gone. Those aren't the ones we're dealing with, right? We're dealing with the loudmouth Adam Schiffs and you know, Pelosi's and
Exactly. Yeah.
so that's going to be the death of their party, and it's going to bring out violence. All right, not so much the ones that we're looking at on TV, but out of the general public that are engulfed, like Woodman said. Man, it blows my mind that these people at home are watching this, and they continue to just keep watching it. It's like hand in hand with the ones that won't quit talking, even though they all know they're guilty. They all know in their head they've done wrong things and that they're going down. So I think therefore they keep up this. And that
Well,
Adam Schiff, they know things too. Like, I've read stuff here that tells me the whole story, and I know that Hillary did really bad things. But I'm going to rely on the fact that the American people don't know that yet. So when I go out on TV, they talk, even though they know the whole story of everything, and they just pitch the narrative that works for the American people because we don't know half of it, supposedly. That's a very, very powerful tool.
Well, these people, the broadcasts I'm talking about, they have the ways and means to not mind control, but push ideas in people's heads not often enough to help generate the division in our United States. I mean, that's really true.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they have a lot. They have a lot of power behind that. You know, shoot. Next thing you know, we're going to have our neighbors shooting at me. You know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
because you know,
Do you
everything they
even
got
think
going.
they said Trump divided this country with all his rhetoric and this and that and calling the news this and that? But if like all this turns out to be fake, you know, it's one thing to defend yourself if you're even lying, you know, but if it's like tough to sit back and take a lot of crap. You know, have you ever done that in your life? If you know, if every time you went to the American Legion and they gave you a bunch of crap and accused you of things, you either quit coming in there. Maybe at first you kind of want to be loud and defend yourself, right? You're not going to just sit there and take it. Most Americans or people wouldn't. They if they feel unjust and things are just everyone's kind of pointing fingers and picking on them, they're either going to fight back or something. So it's like it's like, man, they wanted to start a fake investigation, slander him for 2 years, and him to sit there and take it or something, you know, without ever tweeting or saying one bad word about anyone else. I mean, I just don't know who could do that successfully. I don't know if I'd want somebody like that as a president. That was just, you know. So, all right, I'll let you give the final word here. We're at the 54-minute mark, going on the 55-minute mark. This will be rebroadcast tonight, folks, again on the Patriot Hour. It'll be a premiere maybe at, like, again, 8:15 or 8:30. I do have another video to get out, so with those two going on, I don't know how that'll work. If the premiere can still happen and I have another, I don't think it matters. So look for 2 more videos today. And if I don't get that one done by Greg Rubini, and we didn't even get into going over to look at his tweets, so you're going to have to look forward to that video. You don't want to miss that one, folks. It's going to be a pretty good one. So I've already started a little bit on the intro. I got to do the whole main. I don't even know if I'll be able to get it done today, honestly. If I take my time, and it might be tomorrow, but I'll try to get it out tonight. Again, Woodman, any final closing words for the Patriots?
Well, let's not forget, people. Mexico's done with everybody coming through their country, destroying it. That's one thing. We have to be careful. China, Russia, and Cuba are all involved in Venezuela. Um, I, our government, I truly believe, is trying to put us in the same situation that Venezuela is. They can't override the country because they don't have any weapons. They've already surrendered them. You know, I'd sure like to keep mine. Um, don't forget all the fake news. We got to be kind of careful, kind of pay attention to what you're reading and listening to. Main thing is people for real. We have people like Senator Graham. He was pretty nice the other day. Vote November 3rd. Vote November 3rd. Take care of your elderly people. Pray every day. Pray for the nation. I'm glad that President Trump has enough intestinal fortitude to fight these people. You know, I hope Biden doesn't get in because he's already been associated with a bad one anyway. He's tried enough. Let Trump have his day. Let him clean it up. He's only got 7 more years. That's a lot to chew in about 7 years because hopefully he won't have the same opposition that he had in the first part of his
Yeah, no, he should only have about 6 years left, right? Because we just hit the midterm, which is 2 years. So Trump's already been president over 2 years. He took in January of 17. We just hit, January of 19 would have been January 20th. So we're just over the 2-year mark, folks. So we got about 2 more years of this. We have to vote them in, and then we got 4 more. So I don't know how what you run on. He's like, the only chance you'd have on either side is to get on and say, I'm going to continue on what Trump's been doing and take it to another level and do more things. I mean, you can't knock what's been going on. I'm going to take it back. Biden's big thing was he's like, I'm going to take it back to when the press wasn't meddling into the president's lives every day and reporting on stories. It's like, wow, well, we kind of want that. And they don't have to be bad, but...
Hey, Mike, did you see that one segment where these...
I'm going to make it to where you'll never hear about my crimes as president. The media won't be reporting on them. That's basically what I heard him say. I was like, whoa.
Well,
I'll shut that down.
on a different thing, too, just to show how his angle is going to be. He was on the news displaying about how he's a union man supporter, and he has all the fire departments on his side, da 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 da. And then you have the fire department from New York going, no, we don't. We support Trump because he's been working for us. So there's one department, you know what I mean? And this is some of Biden's. But see, now people may not have seen the last or second part of it and only seen that part of it, thinking, okay, wow, Biden is doing the right thing, so.
Oh, yeah.
Be careful with that.
We'll get it all out there. They can't hide.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So there you go. We had Woodman. It was great having him. I think this is like our 3rd episode this week. Didn't we do one Sunday, maybe? Sunday and then Monday? And I don't know.
We've done a couple.
Yeah. Who's counting? We're back into it, folks. You're going to see a lot more of us. Things are starting to flip in our favor. Again, Woodman, thanks for joining in, brother. And we'll see you back on the next Patriot Hour. All right, oops. There you go. That was Woodman again. Oh man, I don't have my photo up no more. Oh man, yeah, I do right here. That was Woodman. Woodman's.
I need to get royalties from that.
All right, brother. All right, that was Woodman. We're gonna shut this one down, folks. We're just at the hour mark. This will again. I'll say it again. This will be on the Patriot Hour if you want to catch it again and join in. I'll be a premiere, so you guys can join in on the live chat for a second time. Again, I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. God bless, Godspeed, each and every one of you. Don't give up any more rights. Don't give up don't ever give up your rights or your freedom or liberty to anybody, especially these idiots, because it's really hard to get anything back once you give anything up to idiots for free, for nothing. Then they all of a sudden feel, privileged to it, and when you go, by the way, I'd like to have my freedom back. No, you don't need it. This is how it works, folks. So don't give up anything. And again, enjoy your afternoon into your evening, and look for some more Patriot Tech videos to come your way. I'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Tech video.